All right. What is up? We are live. Got a little bit of stuff here to cover before we get into you guys' questions. Sam Hunt Racing is going to have Bubba Pollard wheel their car here in the Xfinity Series. I always think it's a cool deal when they reach out and get guys from the short track world. Bubba Pollard, of course, one of the biggest names in short track racing, done just about everything you can possibly do in a super late model, whatever they call them now, crate late models, whatever they're called now. But he's done everything pretty much in that world that you can do. So pretty cool that he's getting the opportunity over there with Sam Hunt Racing. And also, I would like to see in the future, like some other guys, some lifers get an opportunity. It's really cool when Peyton Sellers got an opportunity to drive in the SRX back in the day. I thought that was a pretty cool deal. Bubba Pollard, another guy actually that got to drive in the SRX, and I thought that was one of the cool things about the SRX. And actually, in the second year when they got rid of the ringer, as they called it, I thought that was one of the bigger mistakes that the SRX made. So hopefully more race teams reach out in the future to the Bobby McCartys of the world. I'd like to see him get a shot at an Xfinity ride, a good Xfinity ride. I think that would be really cool. Jared Fryer is another guy that jumps off the page. I'd love to see Jared Fryer get an opportunity. He's won, both of those guys have won multiple Cars Tour championships. Jared Fryer has won one in the super late models, and he's won one in the regular late models. Both of those guys are just the first two that kind of jump into my mind. Tons of people out there. I'm always going to forget somebody, so I'm just going to leave it off at those two. But insert, whatever, short track driver or whoever, even in the world of dirt, wherever, not really familiar with the dirt world, but of course there's a ton of dirt guys. I think Jonathan Davenport obviously would come to mind that deserve a shot at one of these rides. So always a cool deal. So shout out to Sam Hunt Racing for making that happen. The other thing that's sort of on the radar today, a lot of people talking about Ryan Preece and RFK, according to the rumors, and I want to put it out there, this is just rumors right now, but according to the rumors, they're getting close to announcing that third RFK team, and Ryan Preece is going to be the driver of it. So everybody wondering where Ryan Preece is going, we now know where Ryan Preece is going. And speaking of Ryan Preece, let's take a look at his numbers and his achievements here. 2013 Whelen Modified Tour Champion, 15, 16, 17 World Series of Asphalt Modified Champion, 2011 Race of Champions winner, 2012, 2014 North-South Shootout winner, SK 5K winner in 2015, Turkey Derby 2015, 2017, 2018 Spring Sizzler winner, 2017 All-Star Shootout winner, 2018, 2020 Islip 300 winner, Twisted Tea Open Modified 80 winner in 2019, and of course 2023 he was the Virginia is for Racing Lovers winner 200 at South Boston. But in that list of accolades, you won't see anything from his NASCAR Cup Series career. You can go down to the Xfinity Series, however, where he's got 2 wins, 21 top 10s, and 1 pole. But if you look at his Cup career, over the span of his Cup career, he's only got 14 top 10s, 1 pole, and 0 wins. The 0 wins would be the big thing that a lot of people point at and say, hey, he's been in equipment in the Cup Series for a long time. But if you look at the equipment that he's been in the Cup Series, JTG Doherty and Rick Ware Racing, JTG Doherty 2019 through 2021, where he ran a full season. Rick Ware Racing, he ran a few off races for them in 2022, and then in 2023 and 2024, of course, he's been with Stewart-Haas Racing, and that's been the vast majority of his success has been with Stewart-Haas Racing. Of those top 10s, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those have come in the past 2 years, and not even this year's finished yet with Stewart-Haas Racing. The other, of course, the 3 years when he was with JTG Doherty Racing. Unfortunately, he got to a Stewart-Haas team, and a Stewart-Haas team in particular with the 41 that's not necessarily where it needs to be. And JTG Doherty, they threaten some years, but some races, I should say. Other races, they're off their mark a little bit. So with a little bit of he's not basically he wasn't at a Hendrick or a Penske, is I guess what I'm trying to get at there. But it does lead, it does close another door, allegedly. This is, of course, just a rumor until they make it official, if that happens. But that does close another door in the silly season, carousel that Ryan Preece will be the other RFK car. The other question is, where is RFK getting that charter? Are they going to lease it from Rick Ware? Have they worked out a deal with somebody else? All kinds of stuff, to be worked out there as to where RFK is getting the charter. If, this is true, of course, And then, of course, the big story still raging on, and that is the poll question: the Alex Bowman situation. Of course, did Hendrick flat out cheat? Did they, did a piece of ballast fall off, and they didn't want to appeal it because losing ballast is possibly a bigger penalty than just missing weight? The other theories out there: NASCAR didn't want an HMS Final Four. I've seen that thrown out there a little bit. And of course, some people thinking that it doesn't matter. They should have appealed anyway because it is the playoffs. That is the whole question. But of course, he missed weight, and Hendrick didn't appeal. And I think for the life of me, it's because if they appealed, NASCAR is just going to say you lost ballast, and that's an even bigger penalty than just missing weight. That's what I think's going on. Because otherwise, I think with 100%, you just out of principle, you have to appeal to get yourself back in the playoffs. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it from my perspective. And of course, that puts Joey Logano back in. And to the Joey Logano fans, Joey Logano Theory 101, it is an even year. So he's got Joe Minimum in the playoffs. So you never know what can happen with Joey Logano in an even year in the playoffs. He gets hot at the right times. Luck bounces his way at the right time. So it wouldn't surprise me with this list of playoff drivers if Joey Logano makes that Final Four. A guy who I don't think, however, is going to make that Final Four, and it's just jumping out to me. I'm surprised, honestly, that he's made it this far, and I can't believe it because before the playoffs started, I had Tyler Reddick as a guy who I had penciled in for the Final Four. But since the playoffs have started, he has had some awful finishes. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4. He has had 4 finishes of, and if you count Daytona, 5 finishes of 20th or worse since the playoffs started, or if you want to count Daytona as the race to get into the playoffs or whatever, where he was trying to clinch the title. He almost lost the title there to Larson there at Daytona with that 28th place finish, but he has just had a bad run since the playoffs started. Darlington 10th, Atlanta 6th, started off good. But then after Watkins Glen, 27th at Watkins Glen, 20th at Bristol, 25th at Kansas, 20th at Talladega, and the Roval, they used some pit strategy there to get that 11th place finish. But and they did get a stage win with some strategy as well. But outside of that, they have been in a 4-race slump. And it's just really been surprising. He has just not looked like the same driver in the regular season. And of course, that's got theories to it as well. A lot of people saying, well, that's because, 2311, filed the suit or whatever. That could have something to do with it. A lot of people sort of on that bandwagon, but I'm really surprised at Tyler Reddick's numbers here. But hopefully he can snap out of it. He got the 11th place finish at the Roval. Maybe that springs him in to this next 4. Maybe he gets warm or hot in these next 4 races and can get himself into the Final Four. But yeah, before the playoff started, I definitely had him penciled in as, one of my playoff favorites, Final Four drivers. And then of course, the other thing that everybody's talking about, of course, you saw the extra long episode yesterday, Spygate between Joe Gibbs Racing and allegedly RCR. That's who most people are saying it is. I don't know. I'm going to let things play out before they actually say who it is. But everybody seems to think it's RCR right now from everything that I've seen. But we'll let it play out. You can accuse anybody, but until it's actually made an actual fact, we'll see who it actually was about, and if anything comes of it. I will say this: it has gone on for the longest time. Like people's taking information and going to another team. That's something I meant to put in the other episode, but I left it out. This type of stuff has gone on for a long time. And honestly, it's never really a big deal until you get caught. Once you get caught, that's when it becomes a huge deal because then your name's out there. I'm talking specifically about the engineer. All the teams are trying to get as much information as they can. I don't think anybody's surprised that a team would pay for some information. But once the engineer's name gets out there, it will be a very, very big deal for him. So we'll just have to see how it goes. And honestly, if Joe Gibbs Racing wants to take it to another level, they could. Because if they can find the sheets or if any evidence of him actually giving them actual sheets of the setups, they could take it to another level with intellectual property that was stolen, corporate espionage type of stuff. We saw something like that, I want to say, in IndyCar either last year or this year with Ray Hall Letterman, I think was the culprit. I'm not super familiar with the IndyCar side of things. You have to go to David Land for that. But we have seen it, at least in racing, and I know it was in the IndyCar series. I'm not sure if I got my teams right there. And the other thing was the lawsuit. They're taking off the hat and passing around the collection plate, according to Adam Stern, at least. Adam Stern saying that 2311 and Front Row Motorsports are asking for donations from teams if they want to support the lawsuit against NASCAR. So whether or not that's true, I don't know. But it was an interesting story there from Adam Stern today. So yeah, on the Sports Business Journal, I think is the one he works for. But yeah, poll question is up, and I'm going to jump into the questions. What do you think about the Bowman deal? Should have appealed. Losing ballast is a bigger penalty. NASCAR didn't want an HMS Final Four. They cheated, and that's the bottom line. Right now, really close battle, about 30% apiece. A slight edge, 33% for they cheated, and that's the bottom line because Steve Phelps said so. 31% losing ballast and 31% saying they should have appealed. So we got a good close battle right now with only about 30 or 40 votes in. So get your vote in if you want to vote on that. And let me jump into the chat and see what you guys want to talk about. Napa Racing fan saying poor Bowman. Indeed, he had a good playoffs, and this just a mistake, according to Hendrick. If you take Hendrick at face value, just a mistake they made, and it cost them. And I do think it was a mistake because you're going to get weighed pre-race, you're going to get weighed post-race. So yeah, I feel like it was. If I don't think they would have cheated on that. I guess is what I'm trying to say. They might have cheated somewhere else, but they wouldn't have cheated on something that obvious. So it was definitely a big mistake by somebody there, not securing the ballast, or if the ballast came out in that wreck, or whatever the case is, whatever happened. Definitely a big mistake. What's up, One Wise Guy? What's up, Tim Brace? Can anyone top Larson for the championship? He's got to be a favorite, says Tim Brace. Right now, he's looking like your favorite to go to the Final Four. Of course, the final race is up for grabs. It's between just 4 drivers, so it's really hard to predict the actual winner. But I think I would say he's pretty close to being as close as you can be to a lock for the Final Four, unless something crazy happens. But this is NASCAR, and this season has been nothing but crazy, so nothing would really surprise me. Hey, BB, lock my seats in for Martinsville this afternoon. Good man. I will be out there at Martinsville this year as well, eating dinner. Be in the chat in a few, says Mark Barnum. BB, you going to watch the Yankees after? Yeah, right now, Yankees are up 1-0, so hopefully we can keep it going. Has he won the Snowball Derby, says One Wise Guy. I don't think he's won the Snowball Derby. That's a late model deal, so I don't know if they have modifieds over there, but I wouldn't put him out. If he drove a late model, I'm sure he'd be really good at it. As a Logano fan, I actually hate it for Bowman and his fans. Says Monster Shots. Yes, a tough way. It is a tough way to go out of the playoffs with something like that happening. But at the end of the day, rules a rule, and they were underweight, so there's no getting around that. And they were given every opportunity they could put fuel in the car. You saw Brad Moran's comments, was even able to put fluid back in the radiator and stuff. Hey, BB, the tinfoil stuff don't look too crazy now, says FIA 390. Hey, for sure. To me, the tinfoil stuff never looks as crazy as people think it looks. I'll just put it like that. No need to really delve into it. What's up, Rosie? Good to see you on here, my friend. Bruce Garvey, BB, you think NASCAR could have done Hendrick a favor and told them you don't want to appeal this? I would not, to be honest with you, I would not put that past NASCAR. I think NASCAR could be in a situation where hey, we've got enough controversy. And I'm not saying they did, but I'm saying I could see a situation where an organization would say something like that to somebody like, hey, we got enough controversy going on. We don't need any more controversy. Don't appeal it, or we're going to hit you with a bigger penalty later. So I could definitely see NASCAR saying that. Not saying they did, but I could see a scenario where they said it. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way in. Hey, appreciate you there, Rosie. So if you want to hit the like button, don't feel pressured to, but would be much appreciated. Deegan going to Indy. You go, girl, says William Wagman. Yep, Haley Deegan is going to IndyCar in the Indy Next Series. To be specific, and I think it is HMD, I think is the name of the team she's going to. So hopefully they get her trained up, and she's competitive over there in a couple of years. I don't think right out of the gates she's going to, because it's such a big jump. I don't see her doing great right out of the gate. But hopefully after a couple of years, she'll get something going on over there. But hopefully I'm wrong too. So maybe she comes out of the gate doing well. Hi BB, how you doing? Doing good, Chrome Diesel. Hope you're doing good as well, my friend. Breakhard seems to think Baby Gid said something about RCR, newfound speed after the Olympic break. He did, and I think that's what a lot of people are going on as far as who they're putting the finger on. So all signs, according to everybody that's looking at it, is pointing to RCR. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. If Joe Gibbs Racing actually names anybody or gets legal action involved, like I said, I don't want to. That's who the consensus seems to think it is. But I'm not going to jump in there and just throw that out there. The only and they would be one of them because of the performance after the Olympic break, and of course what Ty Gibbs said right there. The other thing, the only other team I could think of would be Legacy, and the only reason I throw them out there is because they're a Toyota team not affiliated with JGR, and if it was them, JGR might look at them and say, "Hey, they're just another Toyota team. We're going to let it slide this time." But those are the only two that really popped out to mind for me. But we'll just have to see. And I honest to God, don't know who it is. But the internet seems 100% to think that it was without question RCR. So we'll have to see how it all plays out, or if anything happens with it. We'll just have to see. I just think that got careless. Looking at the big picture, he had such a point cushion going into that race. There was no good reason to get that close to minimum weight. I agree with you 100%, Dirty Duff. Like I'm with you. There was not one reason in the world to get that close to it at all. I 100% agree with you. Tyler better step it up big time, or it's done for them. Says Monster Shots. Yeah, I've been super surprised at Tyler Reddick. I really, really had him penciled in as a Final Four guy. Especially, I really, honestly, I was like, this is the year for Tyler Reddick. He's turned the corner. He's won the regular season. He's going to go in there. He's going to have a good playoffs, and he's going to be a contender. You never know what's going to happen in the last race, but I was like, he's going to make the Final Four. He's going to be a contender for that title. To me, it's kind of like basketball now. If you make the Final Four, that's a great year for you. If you win the championship, that's icing on the cake because it's just such a crazy system, in my opinion, for the championship. Denny Hamlin, Rex said, but Tyler Reddick's got to step it up to make that happen. But I really thought this was going to be his year to make the Final Four. Denny Hamlin, Rex at Vegas, taking out Joey Logano, who does not belong in the playoffs, says Joseph Wooten. Reddick 45 regular monster car is way better than the Beast one, in my opinion, says OJ and Toothpaste. If you're talking about the scheme, paint scheme wise, yeah, I guess I could see that, but they've had a couple nasty Beast ones that weren't too bad. But yeah, I would go regular Monster over Monster Beast, but Monster Nasty Beast, they've had a couple of pretty good paint schemes as far as that one goes. I feel bad for for both 48 drivers. Yeah, the other 48 driver, of course, being Parker Kligerman, he really got boned by NASCAR, deciding to throw that caution at the last minute. I mean, imagine your emotions being as high as they were, and then you realize you got to make another restart. And of course, on the restart, Sam Mayer. No, I mean, credit to Sam Mayer. He threw a hero move in there. Heck of a driving move by Sam Mayer. He didn't do anything wrong. He was trying to win the race for himself and get to the next round. But man, and it was a caution. I just think he could have taken the checkered flag. Then they could have thrown the caution, and that could have been that, because I don't think that driver was in any actual danger where he was sitting and where the start finish line is at. So that's just my opinion on that. But yeah, tough break for the other 48 as well. FBI got involved in IndyCar. So yeah, that's what I was getting at. I can't remember the two parties involved, but I think Ray Hall Letterman was one of them, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, the FBI definitely got involved as far as that one goes. So maybe if Joe Gibbs Racing escalates it, they get involved here. Like I said, it could be intellectual property theft, corporate espionage, however you want to look at it. My thing is, why did Andy really leave? That's a good point, One Wise Guy. Does this have something to do with why Andy Petrie left? Did he find out about it and leave? Or did, RCR find out about it and make him leave? A lot of questions to be asked there. Was it just a coincidence in the timing? Did he leave and then this just happened afterwards? Whole lot of questions to be answered there. Hard to say one way or the other. Joe Gibbs Racing, Mrs. Bush regrets letting him go, says Napa Racing Fan. That could be there's that angle too. So a lot of people have thrown that out there. It was an engineer that was upset that Kyle Busch wasn't having the type of year that he hoped Kyle Busch would have, and he thought, no harm, no fault, no harm, no foul. We'll give him some information and help Kyle Busch specifically get faster. Except the first race back, Austin Dillon had the fastest car. The Richmond race, Austin Dillon had the fastest long run car, I should say. Wasn't great on the restarts and the short runs, but long run, Austin Dillon's car on the first one back. So all of RCR benefited from it. So I don't know if it was specifically Kyle Busch, but even if it was, all of RCR obviously benefited from it. I thought NASCAR took the 48 back to the tech center. Wouldn't they find the missing ballast there? They have taken it back to the tech center, and they're going to I guess go from there and see what happened with the car. The info was probably given to 2311, says PC Gone Rogue. I mean, that's another option that it could be. Like I said, I'll wait for all that to play out and see what happens. I hate this for Bowman. He did nothing wrong, but gets eliminated for something completely out of his control. Yeah. If you're Alex Bowman, you got to be like, man, it's just such bad luck. He drove his heart out, overcame a lot of adversity in that race, was able to come back from it, and then at the end of it gets DQ'd. So it is what it is. If there were other 13 teams that didn't sign, I would be like, that's on y'all. Good luck. There is a reason we signed, and one reason is to say all the legal fees involved in fighting it, says Dirty Death. Yeah, I don't think they're going to get a whole lot of takers on helping out with the legal fees, but you never know. You never know how these teams might feel right now and whether or not they'll chip in. Bowman is probably my second favorite driver, so that one really hurts for me, especially with him fighting for his seat constantly among fans. Says I never race fan. Yeah, I think the fans have been trying to take him out of that seat for a long time relative to actual Hendrick itself. Until recently, at least. Timber Race says FIA 390. Second says never racing fan. Agree with your take. If something was off, why fight it or bring attention to it? Says one wise guy. Indeed. Maybe that was the deal that was swung. You never know. We'll just have to see what happens with that after they get it back from the R&D center. If Seabell makes Phoenix, I would make him the favorite, but Larson right now, yeah, I do agree with you there. Unless Christopher Bell has another Phoenix where I think 2022 he burned up the brakes or something like that. He just had an awful Phoenix one race, but he is pretty good in Phoenix. So yeah, like I said, Phoenix being the last race, one race to decide a championship. You're just good to make the Final Four, and then after that, it's anybody's race or whatever. Dirty Def agreed, and who knows if them donating could break the agreement, says Rosie. Yeah, that's true too. You never know what stipulations are written into these agreements and things like that. NASCAR, Jim France covering all the bases. Jim France and his hydra of heads he sends out there to talk on his behalf, in my opinion. Bowman sucks. Glad he didn't make it in. Cheater, says Logano for life. Logano's the best. Take off the hat and throw it in the garbage can, says Logano for life. So he is triggered by the hat for some reason, even though his man's in the playoffs. FIA 390. Wow. Yikes. What's up, BB? What's up in between the lanes? Kyle Larson, 2024 champion. Unbiased pick, says David Garland. I feel you, my man. Yeah, so I do think I just think the final race at Phoenix is anybody's game. Hamlin's got this as FIA 390, but I think it's going to be anybody's game down there in Phoenix. But I do think Larson will make the Final Four. Logano 25 shell scheme revealed. 2025 shell scheme revealed. Sinjic discount tire scheme revealed as well. Blaney's Advanced Auto Parts Dark Horse Mustang revealed and available for pre-order. Yeah, there were a few. McDonald's and Wendy's both revealed paint schemes today. McDonald's has the Ronald McDonald house going on with the 23. I think it's the 23. I know it's 2311. I think it's Bubba's car. And then I think it's the 16 for SVG over there. They got the Wendy's spicy chicken, the spicy chicken car. Both of them look pretty good in my opinion. Is it time for the Bank of America 500 to return, particularly a night race? I think a lot of people would be more happy with that than the Roval. So yeah. A lot of people would like a real road course as opposed to the Roval too. So it's going to be sort of a split down the middle there. Like sands through the hourglass. So are the dramas of NASCAR. Soap opera at the best now, says Mark Barnum. It is very, this season in particular has been very as the world turns. We'll put it that way. I like Byron or Larson at Vegas, but I hope the 8 gets the win. I do hope Kyle Busch can get a win. He's got 4 more or 5 more opportunities to get one done. So hopefully he can get it done. How many races do we have left here? 4 more. He's got 4 more opportunities to get it done. So hopefully in those 4, he can get one. Discount tire scheme along with the Advanced Auto Parts scheme for 2025 is the same. Shell scheme has a little more red on the front fenders. Were you impressed with the LMC Legacy Motor Club at the Roval this weekend? It was impressively bad. Earth 2, they dominated. Like a award-winning performance on Earth 2. Never seen a team function quite that well on Earth 2, OJ. If Legacy brought setups, I hope they can get a refund. Good point, Tim Race. If Legacy was the one buying the setups, hopefully, for sure, they got a refund. No doubt about it. Sometimes you just have to look at the situation and cut your losses. NASCAR gave them every chance to make weight. Because why would you want to have more bad pub right now? I just think they cut it too close. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm interested to see if NASCAR finds anything at R&D. Like a lot of people are speculating. that was a piece of fiberglass that fell off the 48, and B, a lot of people are speculating it was a piece of tungsten that fell off the 48. So it'll be interesting to see one way or the other whether ballast fell out or it was just another piece of the car. First trip to the Roval, not my cup of tea, says Delmer Kaufman. So he didn't like it. I have not been to the Roval yet, so I can't make a personal call. Charlotte overall is a great track to visit, though. Denny Hamlin will not make the Final Four, says Joe Sample. Legacy has been a tragedy, says Napa Racing fan. Amari Cooper to the Bills. Devontae Adams to the Jets. The Bills may have won the battle last night, but didn't win the war, says In Between the Lanes. So yeah, the Jets loading up at wide receiver. Got him a good one there. OJ, I'm planting my garden for next spring. Where do I buy bacon seeds, says Mark Barnum. Jets had a nice throwback uniform last night, BB. Oh, there you go. The throwback uniform is the old kiss of death. They never won in those things, as good as they look. There's another one. Seattle. Every time Seattle wears that throwback uniform, I feel like they lose as well. Tomorrow is my birthday. Happy birthday there In Between the Lanes. Hope it goes well for you. 2-0 Yankees, says PC going rogue. All right, according to PC going rogue, the Yankees are up 2-0 in the series. I'm thinking. Mark Barnum with a lot of letters there. I'm not sure. Happy birthday In Between the Lanes. I got you now, Mark Barnum. I had to figure that one out. Code breaking here on the live stream. Rosie says also happy birthday to Lanes. NBA a week from today, so 1 week away from the NBA cranking up. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Mark. Says In Between the Lanes. Larry Mack said he had current crew chiefs messaging him and said that 4 pounds of brake dust could be used during the road course race. He said, I'm sure that the 5, the 24, and the 9 cut it close as well, but the 48 took it too far. So maybe that's what it was. They were relying on brake dust maybe to overcompensate for the weight. So that's interesting that they've got it calculated that close and that they basically just beefed it on that one. Missed it completely. SVG with the windy spicy chicken scheme. Yep, SVG. That is a good looking scheme. I thought it was him. I knew it was Trackhouse. Not Trackhouse, but colleagues. So I figured it was SVG. Jordan will have to sell more sneakers to pay for legal fee. I don't think that'll be a problem at all. The crew chief should be fired for Bowman, says Joe Samp. I don't think he should be fired. He had a pretty good season. It's just one of those things. He pushed it way too close, and I promise it'll never happen again. Last week at Dega, the winner had damage and they had to fix it. Second arrow missing part. So, well, says Duke Chronic. NASCAR just wants Logano in a championship for every even year for some reason, even failing to advance on points. Can't stop Logano. He gets a DQ to help him out, says Napa Racing fans. A Napa Racing fan going with the opposite conspiracy theory. There is the merch link here from One Wise Guy. Appreciate you, One Wise Guy. And also the Discord link if you want to join the Discord. Monster Shot saying Logano, Larson, Bell, and Hamlin are his Final Four picks. It sounds like a pretty solid Final Four. In fact, any of the 8 that you say you're going to put in the Final Four, I would have to say pretty solid Final Four. Let's see. KFB wins Vegas, says David Garland. Hopefully he can win Vegas. Let's take a look at Vegas real quick. Best average finish is Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, and Fast Willie B, William Byron. So there are your best average finishes. Previous wins go to Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and 3 for Kyle Larson. So there you go. Looking like a Kyle Larson track as well, but KFB's numbers are certainly very, very solid there. Larson looked like 90s Jeff Gordon again on Sunday, said Bo Darville. He is very reminiscent. He does remind me of Jeff Gordon quite a bit when Gordon was on his run there. Reddick should have been light as much air as he got, says One Wise Guy. Seattle's 2-3 in the 2-3 in throwbacks, says One Wise Guy. HMS statement kind of tells me someone made a mistake. The setup for disqualification should be a lot different, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. What's up, B? Good to see you on here, my friend. Hendrick must have struck a deal to hold the appeal while NASCAR keeps the weight loss tech out of the spotlight. It could be. You never know. Let's see. Eric Jones has always had a rep as a clean racer, but him and Josephus tried to one-up each other, seeing how many cars they could spin at the Roval. LOL, says Dirty Def. Yeah, I was, and the Yankees are up 3-0 right now, so I was surprised to see Eric Jones get that physical with somebody, and it wasn't just him. He got into it with Oh man, Kaz Grala. Him and Kaz Grala had a little bit of a battle there as well, which actually led to the ultimate unraveling of Legacy Motor Club. Both of their efforts there. Watching the Lightning. So this is multitasking. Tasking says Bumblebee, referring to hockey there. Good evening, B, says one wise guy. Too many penalties last night. Two missed field goals. Yeah, there were so many flags on the field. It was insane. 3-0 is the Yankees score, not the overall series. I got you there, PC Gone Rogue. I figured it out on the 3-0 part. 2-0 was confusing though. Two bad teams last night. I was like, that's a really quick baseball game. If I'd really been thinking about it. Two bad teams last night means a bad game, says Mark Barnum. F1 drivers will try to collect all the rubber they can on the cool down lap to gain weight. Yeah, I guess it is a strategy. I'd never really thought about that one. So that's interesting. Interesting way of looking at it. Did they ever do the stroker race scheme, fastest chicken in the South? Maybe I'm confusing it with the time they did the Talladega Nights scheme. SHR did Talladega Nights. Corey LaJoy and Spire did the stroker race throwback, and somebody in the Xfinity series also did the stroker race throwback. And in the Cars Tour, Craig Moore Racing, I can speak to that one personally because we were the stroker race throwback for the Hickory throwback race in the Cars Tour a few years ago. Briscoe and Barry representing Texas A&M this weekend in Vegas. Yeah, those Texas A&M cars look pretty good too. Can't wait for Super Sports Sunday, early football, NASCAR, F1, and maybe playoff baseball. Says Bruce Garvey. And next week you'll also get a little splash of basketball in there as well. So that'll be pretty cool. Too, KB had a hard time getting a home win at Vegas. He did. He's only got one, I think, but I don't know. Somebody can double check that one. I think he's only got one Vegas win. He might have more than one though. I don't know. I bet maybe it's Kurt Busch I'm thinking about. Anyway, I bet Logano is the one driver the other 7 in the playoffs did not want to see. Hasn't been great this year, but he's always dangerous this late in the season. Indeed. You keep letting him get closer to it, and he's going to pull off Joey Logano miracle things. You never sleep on Jolo there. Larson looking to win 3 in a row at Vegas on Sunday. Yep. Any word on Zane Smith for Cup next year? I haven't heard anything, but I do assume he's going to Front Row Motorsports. Kaz Grala, referring to when I was trying to figure out who Eric Jones was hitting bumpers with. It was, in fact, Kaz Grala. Zane Smith being 5th in average finish since the playoffs began has me wishing he would have won Nashville. Yep, so close, but unfortunately so far away. The Bills-Jets game was definitely a flag fest and a windy kicker missing fest. Indeed, I did see several missed field goal opportunities in the box score as well. I didn't watch all the game. And what's the theory on them not appealing the penalty? Is it possibly because of the fact that they were hiding something, says Stephen D'Amelio Jr.? Either that or they missed it. Like it's just up to everybody's perception. And some people thinking they just accepted the penalty because they didn't want to take a worse penalty for losing ballast or something like that. There's all kinds of theories out there. So we'll have to see. Welcome to being a Jets fan. Giants aren't much better, says Napa Racing fan. What's up, BB? Up here outside of Asheville, safe and warm. What place will Cup champion? What place will the Cup champion place at Phoenix? I think the Cup champion gets the win this year. So whoever, I think the winner of the race is also going to be the winner of the championship this year. I don't think it's going to be, even though it's been a spoiler fest in the playoffs, I think it's going to be an actual winner at the finale. And stay safe up there near Asheville. Hopefully everything gets back to normal as fast as it can up there with everything they're going through. Ty Schmidt does good impressions if you watch the Pat McAfee show. Let's see. Vegas going to have to go this weekend. The race in the making 10-ball tournament this last weekend was crazy. Savannah Easton went to the finals and took it 12-12 in a race to 13, I think. Final and lost 13-12. Heartbreaking, says Mark Barnum. Jet Steelers Sunday night, since we've all been waiting all day for Sunday night, says in between the lanes, go Steelers, says Napa Racing fan. Nobody was waiting for last Sunday night, says one wise guy. Joe Sample saying, what did you think about Carl Edwards possibly coming back? I don't see it. I just don't see it. Not with this car. Maybe if they got it closer to a real race car. I'm just going to say that because that's how I feel about the new car. One wise guy, long rain delay last week, apparently, says in between the lanes. Uh, Russell Wilson might start this weekend, says OJ and Toothpaste. So, yeah, there you go. Russell Wilson might finally start for the Steelers. I don't know. I don't know if that's the move or not, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Steelers quarterback. Will you watch the big dirt race at Eldora this weekend? I don't have Flow. So, this weekend, I doubt I'll be watching much of anything because I'll be working. Let's see. Freeze warning here in the Compatch tonight, says Mark Barnum. So hopefully it doesn't freeze too bad. Fax Lane, says one wise guy. Parker Kligerman earned that win, and I feel like NASCAR screwed him and that small team out of a well-earned win. A lot of people do feel like that. I'm like UBB. Seems like Legacy would need that info more than anyone because no alliance with JGR. That info would be valuable to compare with their numbers to see how they compare. Yeah, there's all kinds of candidates as to who it could be. Who it actually is, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever actually find that out, but hopefully we do. Hopefully Jets get on a nice run. I can probably, if I think about it long enough, come up with a conspiracy theory for each team, but I'm not going to do that. Hopefully Jets get on a nice run. Says Lanes, Legacy have several former Gibbs employees. Indeed they do. And they, up until recently, had a couple of junior motorsports ones as well. Let's see. Maybe Alex Bowman lost 4 pounds sweating in the race, says Joe Sample. At least Edwards showed up finally. Good to see him make a few media appearances and track appearances, says Napa Racing Fan. Bowman deserved that penalty. He needs to be fired, says Cody Ware is not guilty. I could see Carl Edwards running a truck or Xfinity race. He definitely wouldn't run the dumpster Gen 7. Yeah, I don't see him running the Gen 7 at all. NASCAR has the 48, so they are looking at everything. It's going to be interesting to see if they find anything there, if anything actually happened, and if they actually announce what happens, because sometimes they sit on it and just won't talk about it. It's been cool seeing Carl the last couple of weeks on the NASCAR Playoff Weekly show. Yeah, hopefully he does at least get back in the media. I think that's more likely. See him running a couple of Busch or Xfinity Series races. I think we could see that too. Carl probably not coming back as a driver, but seems to be getting sucked back into the sport for sure. BB, thoughts on early NFL games in London? I think they're pretty cool. I like it. I think it's a pretty cool deal. What about the theory of Edwards leaving the sport due to phony playoffs? Do you think there's any truth to that? You could obviously see where he was probably frustrated by that for sure. It don't work like that, bro, says Bumblebee. Guarantee Bowman didn't even know about it ahead of time, says Monster Shots. Dale Jr. made it to 50 years old. It had to be in the back of his mind that his Gramps and Dad didn't. Yeah, he talked about it on one of his episodes, how that was one of the things he thought about. Will SVG win a race next year, not including Chicago, says Dirty Deaf. I mean, if you don't include Chicago, yeah, I think he's got a good chance at all the road courses. So, yeah, for sure, I think he's got a good chance of winning one for sure. It would be so ironic if LMC stole from JGR and they were trying to get away from their other Toyota teams in an attempt to stay alive, and they literally did the opposite, but illegally, says Thunder Strikes. It would be a huge storyline for sure. Do you like the tracks they gave us for the playoffs this season? I mean, whatever they throw out there, you'll be able to nitpick it and say they should have done this, that, or the other thing. So you never know. Chiefs, Niners this weekend will be the game. Yeah. Hopefully both teams get healthy sooner rather than later. Both are suffering from some injuries. Hopefully SVG Wendy's spicy chicken scheme gets produced. It is a pretty good looking race car. I haven't watched it yet, but apparently Dale Jr. Hurt the Roval this weekend, begging to go back to the Oval, says Dirty Deaf. So yeah, I haven't seen the episode, but I did see where he said I'm back and I got some opinions or something like that. But yeah, it was Legacy, since they were fighting a legal battle with Toyota just a month ago over who owns what data. Has to be them. So there you go. Thunderstrikes, thinking there's a good case to be made that it could be Legacy as well. You just never know. It was supposed to have been the 11 Light, says Aaron Flynn. Levi Stadium for the referring to the lawsuit. What do you call it? Conspiracy theory. Levi Stadium for the Super Bowl 2027. That's going to be pretty cool. That'll be pretty cool. Nice stadium over there too, by the way. I just wish the media, I haven't been, I've just seen pictures of it. It looks like a really nice stadium, I should say. I just wish the media would talk more about racing and not the playoffs all the time. It is frustrating when there's a lot of good racing going on the track, and all they do is show the playoff ticker from like lap 1 to the end of the race, and that's all they talk about. Any rumors about Daniel Hemrick next year? Haven't heard anything. Haven't heard anything about him either. In the NFL, you can have a 6 a.m. kickoff times for Pacific Standard Time. Why can't they have earlier start times for NASCAR? I don't know, Bruce Garvey. You have to ask the TV execs for that. Does the Bank of America 500 return in 2026? I think it'll be back. I think it'll be back. How Legacy going to cheat and still run 35th? That's a great question. SVG's talent is better than the team/equipment, unfortunately, says Mr. J. Yeah, I think next year he'll be at Trackhouse and he'll probably have a little bit of a better car than he did this year. Nothing against Colleague. I think Colleague is going to rise up next year as well. I predict SVG will win 3 races next year, says Joe Sample. He could. Good point, B, says Rosie. You would think Toyota would handle that in-house. I get tired of the playoff talk as well. It's like the race is secondary. That's a good way of putting it there, Dirty Duff. You just feel like, hey, there's a race going on, but it's all about the playoffs. Someone earlier said Legacy needed a refund. That's pretty funny. The Bears stink again, says Joe Stamp. They got a pretty good defense. They just need to get the offense off of life support there. I'm thinking Hemrick might retire and raise his kids. He could, and maybe run short tracks and stuff like that. But he also could just go back down to Xfinity. I don't think he hated it in Xfinity. Obviously, he wants to be a Cup driver, but anything can happen. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see what happens with Hemrick there. Laughing my butt off. Riley Herbst is the most improved Xfinity driver, says the mediocre mayor Jeff Burton. Says Mr. J. I like the new Roval, better layout than last year's. And no, I'm not just saying that because Larson won, says OJ and Toothpaste. So yeah, I didn't have a problem with the layout. I thought this year's Roval was the best Roval they've ever had just because of how aggressive the racing was. Should NASCAR be oval car and only run ovals? I learned over the past few years, many fans hate road courses and believe they're boring because the field spreads out with a Gen 6 car as well. I don't know. I like road courses, so you're asking the wrong person. You'd have to ask somebody that doesn't like road courses and get them to talk about maybe why they don't like road courses. Who is going to get Rookie of the Year in Cup? Probably Carson Hocevar. I don't think Josh Berry can really catch him at this point, but we'll see. We'll have to see. Riley Herbst isn't a bad driver. Let's get that straight, says Bumblebee. Who is the engineer selling setups for cash? They haven't really released the engineer's name either, but I feel like everybody in the garage knows who it is, and his time is probably coming to an end because I don't know if he'll have a tough time finding a job at least for a couple of years. I think the more SVG learns the car, the more he'll influence how the setups evolve. I thought he and Bruce Schlickler were killing it, and then not as much when he left. I love road courses too. Coda is amazing, says Rosie. Yeah, I like road courses myself. So when it comes to do we need to get rid of road courses, you're asking the wrong dude. Roval was actually decent and not complete total crap, says Monster Shots. Do you think they'll file charges against the info stealer, says B? I don't know. I think if they were going to do it, they would have done it. And I think it's probably one of two things. They're not worried about the other team that got it, or they don't have enough evidence to do it. So it's one of those two things would be my guess. I'm just not sure, and I'll let it play out as far as that goes. Xfinity courses have been one of my favorite things. Xfinity road courses have been one of my favorite things in any series over the last few years. I don't think they'll get rid of road courses too much money. Watkins Glen infield sold out for next year. So far this season, which team or driver has surprised you the most? It surprised me at how bad Legacy has been. I was surprised by that. I'm surprised at how good Rick Ware Racing was, or maybe how good Justin Haley is, however you want to look at it this season. So that surprised me a little bit. I didn't see that. That kind of came out of nowhere. So I guess those would be the two biggest ones that jump off. Maybe your favorite scheme from the Roval. Oh, that's a tough one. Let me think on that for a minute. I had a favorite scheme, but right now, off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was. Oh, man. Let's see. I'm pro road courses, but okay with moving the Charlotte fall back to the oval, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, I could see that. I just don't know. Part of the reason that Charlotte gets to keep 2 races is because they have a unique roval, is kind of the theory behind that. So I don't know if they can get rid of the roval for that reason. It's up to speculation though. That's just something I've heard, so I don't know if that's true or not though. Watkins and Sonoma, the only good road courses, says Mark Barnum. Let's see. I don't know, man. I feel like it just depends. It just depends. I like Coda. Like it just depends. Like I don't know. I like road courses. I like all of them. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say any of them are bad. You don't like Coda Mark, says one wise guy. If they had the guy, if the guy had a NDA, then he would get charged, says Duke Chronic. One wise guy. How bad LaJoy has been, says Monster Shots. BB, did you see that Rogers Hail Mary at the end of the first half last night? Um, I don't think I saw that one. I have to go back and watch the replay. I didn't get to see much of it because I was working basically on the video while it was happening. I know the whole Spygate F1 thing happened. The main guy was charged and sent to prison, then ended. Oh, okay. And that was just a sad situation, says B. So yeah, that was bad. I didn't know all about that one. So that's unfortunate to learn. Hopefully it doesn't end like that. Been trucking and listening. Just parked for the night. I think it's been 40. The 48 barely missed weight. If it was egregious, then there would have been no point in putting in the fluids and stuff like that. Says Kyle. Yeah, I think it was over 17 pounds, but I doubt it was much over 17 pounds. So they were probably really, really close. Who had Harrison Burton winning Daytona and making the playoffs, says Napa Racing Fan? Oh, that's a good question. I don't think anybody had that. He's also a big surprise. I'm glad he ran well and got a win. So that's also got to be a big surprise as well. Say Kyle, go Willie B. Yeah, got a Willie B track coming up. So possible Willie B win incoming. Bubba has vastly improved on road courses, says one wise guy. He's been pretty good at the Roval. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what he does at the other road courses. I have to look him up. But yeah, he, for whatever reason, the Roval suits his driving style. He has consistently been good at the Roval for sure. Was it the 47 pizza roll? That's it. Totino's pizza roll. That was my favorite car. I couldn't remember for the life of me what it was though. I'm glad you saved me there. I was sitting there. It's like trying to think, but also answer questions. Yeah, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. favorite car from last weekend. If you were in charge, BB, what track would you add to the Cup schedule? If I wanted fan support, I would just add Rockingham because everybody would be like, "Oh, that's awesome," or maybe Chicagoland. Bring back Chicagoland. I think both of those would be pretty popular. But honestly, I would bring back Road of America and drop one of the other road courses. Probably the Roval. Drop the Roval. Move. Get 2 Charlotte races, and then I don't know. I would figure out another race to drop. Maybe drop one Richmond. Drop one of the Richmond races. I know they took. There's only one Richmond race, I guess, next year, but I would do something like that. Yankees are still 3-0, 3-0 over after 3 innings. Says PC gone rogue. Who had Austin Dillon winning a race this year, but not Kyle Busch? Says Napa Race Fan. That's been pretty shocking as well. Legacy Motor Club should have teamed up with JGR in 2311. Yeah, at least I agree with you on that. At least for a couple of years, and then they could go their own way, sort of like they're doing now. I think that would have been the move. But hindsight's 2020. Mets Dodgers heading to Citi Field tomorrow. Mr. J, I feel that NASCAR needs to establish the rules and procedures at the start of the year and have completely discontinued group officiate the racing, including the cautions. So yeah, just an outside group to officiate the rules, and then they don't change them until the next season. I think that would be a good idea as well. OJ, I did buy Totino's after the race. I have Buffalo Chicken now, says one wise guy. Every road course race this year, but the Glen was won by a HMS driver, says Napa Racing Fan. That's pretty crazy. I hadn't thought about that. LaJoy's finish at Kansas was like the highest finish ever at Rick Ware Racing. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. I thought Justin Haley had got him one, but there you go. Corey LaJoy putting in the work there. JTG designers are the best. They rarely have bad schemes. I don't know if they ever have in the Gen 7 era, says Thunder Strikes. They had the Irish Springs Kroger car. That was pretty bad for Daytona that one year. That was a pretty bad one. Say Kyle, what's up? Saying what's up to B. BB, are pizza rolls better than Red Baron pizza? Says OJ and toothpaste. I'm gonna go Red Baron pizza over pizza rolls, but this is pretty close. Road America is my favorite road course. Wisconsin fans deserve a race. I agree. I agree. I thought that was a bad deal. They let Bubba Wallace better driver than Austin Dillon, says Thomas Haywood. So, I mean, I don't. I think a lot of people would probably agree with you. I think they're about tit for tat. I think they're about the same, in my opinion, about the same level, and I think that they're both pretty good. I agree strongly, BB. Also, for the second Charlotte race, drop a Bristol race and make the night race a crown jewel. I think that would be pretty cool. I do like two races at Bristol. Just make two of them night races. But yeah, just find a race that's underperforming that has two dates, and then slide Road America in there. I think that'd be a good deal because Road America is a great track. Always has a great fan support no matter what's running there. Agree, Thunder. Whoever is in charge for JTG, the scheme is underpaid. No Bob Costas during the ALCS. Oh, I know everybody's sad about that. BB, just curious. Him and Joe Buck. I just don't. They're not my favorite announcers. BB, just curious. But why does NASCAR turn left on circuit tracks over turning right, going the opposite way? I'm not trying to be smart, just asking. That's a great question. That's a great question. Honestly, I've never thought about it, but I can look it up. I can look it up for you one day. I feel like most consider the Bristol night race a crown jewel. BB, do you play drafty car? I don't play drafty car. Yeah, I consider Bristol a crown jewel as well. So the damage policy thing, are they just going to tow everybody to the pits and figure it out? They'll probably change it in the off season. That's my thoughts on that. The highest winner, the highest Rick Ware finishing car was Talladega 2022. Cody Ware, if I'm correct, says Thunderstrikes. The worst JTG scheme by far was the Ricky Craven throwback with a tiny Tide decal on the corner panel. That one was pretty. It wasn't necessarily a bad scheme. It was just a bad throwback to the scheme they were throwing back to. The tiny Tide car, says Napa Racing fan. Wish Bush would get away from RCR, says Thomas Haywood. Was it me, or were the numbers on the 48 a little more forward than usual? Yeah, a lot of people did not like that one. They were definitely complaining about that for sure. And let me look up why does NASCAR go left? Oh, here we go. It's pretty much a fairly straightforward, simple answer. According to Google's AI overview, NASCAR races counterclockwise on most ovals because of a tradition that began with horse racing. So the answer is horse racing. From the beginning, our horse races were run counterclockwise as an act of defiance against the British. Oh, it's getting even deeper here. When NASCAR built its speedways, they kept the tradition. Another theory suggests that left turns on the track help drivers stay safe from the wall and increase safety. In America, the cars are left-hand drive, so that one makes more sense. The first one, I feel like, is sort of like the clickbaity, spammy. If you were making a video on it, that would be what you did to sort of draw people in. That last one to me makes more sense because of where the drivers are located. So that to me makes more sense than the other one. Let's see here. Will any non-playoff driver win a race the rest of the season? I think there's a good chance. There's a good chance the way that's going. What's up? What's up, CeeLo on the go? Always good to see you on here, my friend. If you want to check out a live stream while the races are on, check out CeeLo. He always does a great job with them. IndyCar said they didn't take the TV deal with the most money, but they went with Fox due to exposure. Too bad NASCAR didn't have more broadcast and less cable races, says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, I try not to complain about the TV stuff too much because back in the day, and I'm glad Slap Shoes brought it up. You got the schedule at the beginning of the season, and you literally had to track. There was like 13 or 14. It felt like different channels you had to go to catch the race. So I don't know. It's not as bad as it was, but it could be better. People just got spoiled by it being on either Fox or NBC, depending on what time of year it was. Let's see. And CeeLo saying what's up to everybody. One wise guy saying what's up to CeeLo. BB, what's better? Midnight Club, Need for Speed, Underground, or Forza? I'm gonna go with Forza. I was always a Forza person, so Forza is my favorite. In between the lanes saying Bob Costas gives a history lesson during the broadcast. Almost felt like Joe Davis shouldn't call Mets Dodgers series since he already does the Dodgers during the regular season. Possible bias. It could be. I'm thinking Aspire. They did get better, says on the go with CeeLo. It could be. It could be any team, really. One get wise guy, what's up, says on the go with CeeLo. I never knew NASCAR horse racing routes. LOL says they're deaf. That's one of the theories, but I don't know. I don't know how accurate it is. It makes more sense that it's a safety issue because American cars, or you drive on the left hand side, so you've got more more car between you and the wall. That makes more sense to me. Kyle Busch should go to 2311, and I bet you within a year he would win a championship, says Joe Sample. Many racetracks were originally built for horse racing, such as Milwaukee Mile and Stafford. Giving it to the Redcoats one last time, says one wise guy. Oh man, that war is over. That war is so over. So I don't know. Let's see. OJ, what's up, man? Says on the go with CeeLo. Napa Know How, starring Martin Trix Jr. and Michael Waltrip. Says In Between the Lanes. That was a pretty good commercial series. Thank you for looking that up, BB. No problem, OJ. Anytime I can. Now, officially, I don't think those other two are accurate. I think it's just for safety. Like it's just for driver safety. I don't believe the middle finger to the English thing. That sounds like internet conspiracy drama, 4chan made up bullcrap, but that's just me. What's up, CeeLo? ESPN was good at doing races. They were, for sure. They really set the tone for what a good broadcast could be back in the day. Josh Bilicki will he ever win a race in Cup? I don't know. It's hard to say. Earth 2, he's probably a future champion though. I believe the term pole position is from horse racing 2. The far left horse was closest to the pole where the race starts. That sounds pretty accurate and makes sense. I'm old enough to remember buying the Pocono race on pay-per-view to watch it, says Bruce Garvey. I forgot about the races being on pay-per-view on occasion too. Good call there, Bruce Garvey. ESPN style ticker on the left side. Ticker we have now, says Cody Ledger. Just in general, Joe Davis is not a bad announcer overall. I think Spire started getting a lot more info from Hendrick. The reason they go left is so NASCAR, when they're loading up the vehicle to the bank, it's easy to deposit the money, says Joe Sample. Haley Deegan News says Dawson Fair. She's going to IndyCar next with HMD, I think is the name of the team. Maybe that's how they can make the Martinsville Cup race interesting with the next gen run clockwise, says Napa Racing Fan. The Iceberg also has a video on why we turn left, says Alexander P. So there you go. Check out Iceberg's video on it. I didn't know he had that one, so I have to look that one up after this one as well. Dirty Death. Maybe Hendrick got the info from JGR and gave it to Spire. Hey, there you go. That would be awesome. You working with Craig this weekend, says one wise guy. I'm working with Craig, but we're working on somebody else's vehicle. So I'll let you know in the Discord there. Have you ever watched Michael Cruz's live stream before, BB? Yeah, Michael Cruz does a good job. Or Michael, I say Moobs because I can't say his last name right. So old Moobs does a good job. Always a good stream over there from him. Pay-per-view races must have been wild. Technically, they are back next year with Prime. Shout out to Iceberg. Indeed, Iceberg always doing a good job on his deal. Clean Clo. I remember when NASCAR used to be on FX or something like that back in the early 2000s. Could never find the races when I was a kid. LOL. Yep, it's hard to find them sometimes. I remember when they had actual paper schedules you picked up at the gas stations and stuff. In the old heater era, there would always be a cigarette from the people that sold those at your gas stations, and you always pick one up and be like, all right, it's going to be on this channel that day. Let's see. Did you see the CW is thinking about having a remote booth? Yeah, that's terrible. Hopefully they don't do that. I think that's universally already been squashed by everybody that has heard about it. BB will be doing all the things Vegas this weekend, says CeeLo. That'll be good. That'll be good. Stay safe, my friend. Only 10-ish days till MX5s at Martinsville. That's going to be pretty cool too, Cody Ledger. I might go up there and check that one out if I've got time. Shout out BB, of course, says In Between Lanes. I appreciate you as well, my friend. Shout out to In Between the Lanes, and good luck to all your New York teams, my friend. Dale Jarrett is unless the Mets play the Yankees, in which case they need to lose. Dale Jr. is against remote booths. I think universally everybody right now is against remote booths. BB is the 47 Icy Hot scheme, the best JTG scheme, or the NOS one. I like the Totino's one. I think he also had like a Slim Jim one time. He's had a few good ones. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go have to look that up, but I'm gonna go. And there's been better ones than the Icy Hot. BB should be on the NWP for sure, says Monster Shots. That they do their thing, man. And look, they do a great job with their deal over there. So if they ever want to have me, they know how to contact me. But yeah, they do their thing and they do a great job. So check them out tomorrow night at 8:00. They're going to go live. FS1 truck booth has been horrendous, says Napa Racing Fan. It has been not as good as it could be, but I'm not going to say horrendous. but hopefully they get it figured out for next season. My grandpa Pat went to heaven on August 29th, 2023, and I miss her. My grandma Pat, I said the wrong word. My grandma Pat went to heaven on August 9th, 2023, and I miss her every day. That's my mom's mom. Indeed, Dawson Fair, and prayers out to you and your family. I know that stinks. Hope it gets better for you with time as time goes on. Just in time to say bye, says Sha. What's up, Sha? Correction, we will be streaming all Vegas races this weekend. I thought you were going to come to us from Vegas, my man. I thought you were taking it to the next level. I was like, my man CeeLo, he's really getting into it. I feel you, dude. CW has already ruined the Xfinity series for me. Haven't watched since Bristol. Don't plan on watching next year when streaming starts either. If they have a remote booth, yeah, that's the remote booth is really going to be the icing on the cake for a lot of people. I understand 100% where you're coming from, say Kyle. I sent you the link the one time though, man. So maybe try that one next time. Say Kyle, come hang out with us. There you go. Hang out with CeeLo, and he'll keep you up to date with what's going on in the Xfinity Series race. Macho Man Randy Savage, 8 Slim Jims. Indeed. I had a pay-per-view a race because of local baseball once. It was Harvick's in-car and audio. Dude won the race and maybe said like 2 sentences the whole race. It was kind of feel like I won though. Yeah, Harvick, he was always pretty quiet on the radio when I was listening to him too. So I would just I would switch over to another driver. One day says CeeLo. I mean 2024 question Grandma Pat this year says Dawson Fair. Working on that media pass, says CeeLo. I feel you, dude. I feel you. If you get it, let me know. Let me know. We'll come support you live if that happens. Michael Waltrip sponsors within reason, as long as it's in the Southeast. Michael Waltrip sponsors a funny car in NHRA with his beer company. His beer company is pretty good, man. He's got a pretty good brews going on there. I like the Vominos. I think that's the best one he's got. I was keeping things on the DL for you on that one. Says say Kyle, oh, you're good, my man. It was all over the Discord, so you're good. Worst. Let's see here. Luke Bryan says Dawson Fair. Let's see here. Handle a little bit of business real quick. All right. Dawson Fair saying Luke Bryan, no remote booths, and talk about racing, not the playoffs. 100% of the time, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, the playoff thing is getting pretty bad, but still mad about it, says Kyle. Playoffs, some of the time are fine. Now it's all they talk about. Poor Chastain wins Kansas, gets old. He's not in the playoffs. Yeah, hopefully he can make it next year. On the go with CeeLo. Oh, dentist, I love you, says on the go with CeeLo. So he's familiar with the dentist as well, apparently. Luke Combs says Dawson Fair. Congrats, Chastain, Blue Chair, and Stenhouse for not being in the playoffs. LOL, give them credit for the win, for crying out loud. Says Napa Race Man. Yeah, it stinks that the first question is, oh man, you won this one race too late. Someone tell Christopher Bell there ain't no love in Oklahoma. Says in between the lanes. What do you think of those country music singers? Says Dawson Fair. Luke Combs is pretty good. So I'll leave it at that. How do you think? Let's see. We're talking about playoffs. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? Don't talk to me about playoffs. I'm trying to win a game. Playoffs? There you go. There's your playoff spiel there. What all current NASCAR tracks have you been to? Mine is North Wilkesboro, Talladega, and Atlanta. Oh man, I don't know. I'm gonna leave one off. I know. Daytona, Martinsville, Wilkesboro, Darlington. I'm gonna miss one. Phoenix. So we're up to 5 here. Rockingham, although it doesn't count anymore. Myrtle Beach for Busch Series race. Orange County Busch Series. South Boston Busch Series. Let's see. Off the top of my head, those are the first ones I can think of off the top of my head. There's probably some more in there that I'm not thinking about. Let's see. Charlotte would have to be in there. How could I forget that one? Just sub CeeLo. I'll check you out the content after the live. I love how everyone is quick to say Joey should not be in this round. I don't think anybody's saying that. I think they're saying that it's crazy that Bowman's team messed up that bad. Awesome, man. I promise you will have a blast. BB, will the 49ers beat the Chiefs? I hope they do. I don't know. Dawson Fair, how old are you, BB? Pretty old, my man. How old are you, Dawson? Hello, you play to win the game. Says in between lanes, Joey is a good driver, but Bowman has been better this year. He's run consistently better than Joey Logano. Have you seen a race at New Smyrna Speedway near Daytona? Says say Kyle. I've not seen a New Smyrna race. I can definitely say I haven't seen that one. Jamie, he would have been if the Dylan Dega wreck, but that's the luck of NASCAR. Denny would have been out of the playoffs though if he would have been in the Dega wreck as well. Will a spoiler winner be the winner this weekend, says Jamie Schweitzer? That's hard to say. I don't know. I guess it's a prophecy that Logano makes the championship 4 on even years, says Napa Racing Fan. Yep, he's pretty strong in the even years. Eric said that, said Jamie Schweitzer. Jamie, I agree 100%. Have you ever watched NASCAR Boy live streams before or heard of him? I'm not familiar with NASCAR Boy 2019, so I'll have to go check him out. Logano said that too on Pit Road. Says on the go with CeeLo. BB, if you have Flow Racing, I'd suggest watching the Wheel and Modified Tour race next year with New Smyrna. I might pick up Flow Racing next year. I don't know. A lot of people keep talking about it. I know it's good and all that. I just don't know. I'll have to think about it. Logano or Bowman wouldn't have gotten into the round of 16 if they didn't have a win. So that's crazy, says Dirty Def. Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy season. Like, there's a lot of really good cars that are out that didn't make the playoffs because you had a lot of just random winners and stuff like that. I vote to remove the turtles at road courses. Ross Chastain, yeah, Ross Chastain will be one of them. Dawson can't stand him on the track. Kind of like him off it, but 22 is going to win. Vegas, take it to the bank. It could happen. It could happen. Joey Logano, he shows up in even years when you least expect him. So expect him. Yeah, I don't have it yet, but we'll be there for the World Finals. It's a good price if you get the yearly package. Yeah, I'll definitely get the yearly package if I get it. Bubba Pollard running Sam Hunt Racing 26. Indeed, he is, and hopefully he gets the job done. Charlotte, good to see you made it, my friend. Cody Ware, got to be home enough to order Flow. Yep, that's part of my thought process there. Has your Final Four changed at all, BB? Other than Tyler Reddick, not really. He's the only one that's, I guess, from the very beginning of the playoffs, not really that much. Martinsville for Bubba Pollard, I should mention, says in between the lanes. Flow Racing is what my dad has, and he loves it. I used to watch Kyle Larson when he raced on dirt, says Rosie. Yeah, it's hard to, if you're a big dirt fan, Flow Racing is hard to beat. If you're a big late model fan, Flow Racing is also hard to beat. If Joey wins the championship, he would match Smoke's 3-time record, says Jamie Schweitzer. Chad Fincham Racing, that's a pretty big thing too. If you go all the way back to the original, him taking over the 20. Chad Fincham Racing for MBM Motorsports at Miami Homestead this weekend. So good luck to him. Good luck to old Chad Fincham. I saw where they had his paint scheme, so he's got a sponsor there as well that he brought with him. I'm thinking Elliott would be a legit champion. Leads the Winston Cup points, I believe, at the moment. I'm not sure who's leading it. Last I saw it was Tyler Reddick, so I'll have to go back and look at it to check that one out. Who's your 4? 24 is in there, right? 24 is in there for sure. 5's in there. I had Tyler Reddick in there, and I can't remember off the top of my head who the other one was. I think it was either Joey Logano or Chase Elliott or Ryan Blaney. I think it was Joey Logano though, but I can't remember if it was Ryan Blaney. But yeah, it was something like that. It was one of the Penske cars. I just can't remember if it was Ryan Blaney or Joey Logano. I think I put Logano in there because it's an even year. But yeah, I think that was the Final Four there. Let's see. I really thought it was going to be Reddick's year, but it's not looking like Reddick's year since the playoffs started, unfortunately. Let's see. Shy saying bad. Jamie, that would be something if the 22 wins. He better give the 48 some prize money. If a spoiler wins, I predict it would be Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is pretty good there, so I wouldn't sleep on him. What does SVG mean, says Dawson Fair. Shane Van Gisbergen would be what SVG means. I know Lawson, Lee Diffie, different voice is nominated, but I'd love to see Bell win, says on the go with CeeLo. Bell's definitely going to be a contender for sure. And I guess I would put him in place of Tyler Reddick. I always like to put at least, one driver from each make in there because that's typically how it kind of shakes out. So I guess now I would swap Bell in for Reddick, and I would probably leave the other one and just whoever you want to take from the Penske camp. But I got Byron and Larson as the two Chevrolets. I've got Bell now, I guess, as the Toyota, and then whichever Penske car you want to put in there. SVG is Shane Van Gisbergen. What is your favorite holiday? Mine is Christmas, says Dawson Fair. Top 3 favorite holidays, I should say. Reddick might surprise us all. He's really good at Vegas and Homestead, says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, I mean, he could turn it on. He could get hot at the right time. That's the crazy thing about the playoffs. Burton wins the championship on Earth 2, says Sekal. That would be crazy. He'd be the first person to ever actually win a race on Earth 1 and win a championship on Earth 2. But he might be the man to do it. Dawson Fair, I'm with you on Christmas being my favorite holiday. Logano has a championship sewn up, and the fates have decreed it, says Shaw. Larson is going to win it because if he wins, more people will follow over to Indy when he runs again next year. It could. That could be something that happens. I don't know if they really plan it like that. Lawson says OJ and Toothpaste. Do you think Danica Patrick will place higher, faster once IndyCar than Jimmy Johnson? I think they're both done, so I don't know. She's won a race, so I mean, I guess I have to give her the advantage over there. I don't know how many champions and future champions has Joe Gibbs Racing let go. I don't know. I'd have to take a look at that. Let's see. Larson, Bill, Byron, and Hamlin. Fingers crossed. OJ, says on the go with CeeLo. Camaro, $5 for the 5 win. He's looking pretty solid. Pretty solid track for him. I appreciate you there, Camaro. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a Kyle Larson track. I just briefly looked at the numbers a minute ago. He's definitely got by far the best numbers there by numbers. I think if KSB is going to win, it will be either Vegas or maybe Homestead. RCR cars aren't good enough to win on short tracks. The wins Martinsville has been questionable at Phoenix, says Dirty Def. That's probably a fair statement over the last 3 years. The exception to that, of course, being Richmond. So if they can find that speed they had at Richmond, maybe that's the silver lining there. Who is Alex Bowman's girlfriend or wife? I don't know, my man. I don't I don't really get into all that, Dawson. I got it from UCLO, says OJ. Labor Day for me, but that's because my birthday every 7 years. My mom is lucky, has 4th of July fireworks every year for her birthday. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool to have a holiday going on your birthday. Bush ain't going to win this year. Reverse luck statement, says Shaw. So Shaw's trying to put the reverse mojo on there to get him a win. Much appreciated, Shaw. How do you think Josh Berry runs in the 21 and 2025? I think he'll do a great job. You forgot Dale Jarrett, eventual champs that JGR let go. Yep, for sure. For sure. Don't they give a sword for the winner at Vegas? The sword is for Bristol. I'm not sure about Vegas. Vegas usually has the dice on their trophy, but I'm not sure about a sword. Odds, Larson takes the championship this year. Probably pretty good odds. Larson said his biggest threat is Denny in the post-race interview, says Mountain Grizzly. What's the end game for NASCAR? Do we see them racing in Europe this decade? You could. They like to follow the NFL model, so you could eventually see a London race or something like that if they can figure it out. I am 17 years old, says Dawson Fair. So Dawson continuing to hunt for my credit card information and other things like that. So you keep trying, Dawson. Let's see. Mountain Denny tracks are coming up, says on the go with CeeLo. Yep. Denny is actually pretty good at these tracks. Yeah. Oh yeah, KFB is definitely done, says Dirty Death. Earth 2, Bush wins Martinsville, while Austin Dillon finishes last, says Jamie Schweitzer. That would be interesting. We'll see how that happens. Not excited for the championship coming down to one race default again, says Napa Race Fan. Yeah, that's probably the worst part of the playoffs. Don't care who wins this championship, but not Denny, says Thomas Haywood. Don't Dawson, don't put your information out there like that, my friend. Vegas is an adult arts and entertainment poll, says Dirty Def. Support the fine arts, says Dirty Def. Denny hasn't won a race this April, and JGR hasn't won a race since July. Everybody got that info. LOL, says Dirty Def. BB, what's your last four of your social and the street you grew up on? Says say Kyle. You forgot my pets names and all that stuff too. Mountain Grizzly, Denny Hacklin. It would be cool for Josh Berry to leverage those Penske setups to take the Wood Brothers back to victory lane at Martinsville next year. Says Timber Race. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Josh Berry does over there. I think he'll run really good. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Dirty, we win it when it counts. Says on the go with CeeLo. Way to word that, BB. Says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, got to get creative with some stuff here. YouTube, got to be YouTube friendly. Earth 2, Morgan Shepherd still racing, says Clean Clo. Courtney Force, yeah, Morgan Shepherd definitely still the GOAT on Earth 2, no doubt about it. Courtney Force has 2 daughters, right? Says Dawson Fair. I don't know, my man. It's already on the dark web, says one wise guy. I'm sure it is. Sure it is. Let's see. All y'all that let Denny live in y'all's heads rent free. Yeah, for sure. He's a really good villain character as far as NASCAR narratives go. Appreciate all you do, BB, says Dirty Def. Earth 2, Hamlin takes them to the Final Four and wins the championship. Could be. I don't know. All I'll say about Denny Hamlin is that he is the best driver statistically that has never won a championship. So we'll see if it happens before he hangs them up or not. That being said, it looks like we've reached the end of the chat. Final poll question: 31% losing ballast is a bigger penalty, and 29% is tied between should have appealed and they cheated, and that's the bottom line. And 12% for NASCAR didn't want an HMS Final Four. I'll check you guys on the pre-race stream, and then I'll work on some videos for the rest of the week. Until then, peace.